there a chance of bots or hackers messing with the algorithms for good versus bad lead?
Yes, there is. So this happens on both Facebook and Google
hmm
and Microsoft. It's everywhere. And I don't know if you knew this. Click fraud is the second biggest organized crime in the world.
I did not know that.
It's huge after like human trafficking or drugs or something like that.
Wow.
So it's huge, click fraud. And
Click fraud as in wasting other people's money, or click fraud to do something else?
well, that's the trick. You see,
It's like a social engineering component.
it's typically click fraud from the standpoint of I have a website. I'm trying to sell advertising inventory on that website. I pretend that I'm actually selling that to people, and therefore I get paid by the ad exchange.
hmm
So if you look in Google proper, like actual Google search engines, there's not that much fraud. Maybe your competitor's screwing with you here and there, and there's some tactics to kind of deal with that. If you look on Facebook proper, same kind of deal. There's not really a lot of bots there
Yeah.
and stuff. If you look at their affiliated things, that's where you run into tons of click fraud issues. Like Google has their search network, and then they have their search partners network. That's other search engines, which can include your website with a search bar on it.
hmm
That could be a search engine.
Mhm.
That's where you can sell inventory to those. And Facebook has something called Audience Network that's kind of similar. It's display ads in a whole bunch of different websites and apps and all that kind of stuff. And there, like in Google proper, there's no incentive for Google to introduce fraud because it's their own platform.
Right.
But in a search partner's standpoint, there is incentive, and there are a lot of fraud issues. And what you'll find, this is actually one of the biggest things that I've found when people come to me saying my PPC is horrible, please help me. This is a really common thing. It's that they're actually advertising on those other networks too.
Mhm.
And what happens is the algorithm sees that the leads are cheap there, and it sees that they're getting leads. All the leads are junk, but they're getting leads. And I've run into so many people. I audited an account the other day. They spent $100,000 on PPC this year, and like 30 grand of it was on that network. And because they weren't tracking that data closed loop to know the quality of the leads and feeding that data to Google, the algorithm was doubling down on that
Mhm.
traffic. So as soon as we did the analysis of where your good leads and your bad leads coming from, we can see the really clear distinction, and we can cut out trim the fat basically.
Right.
So you can have a lot of issues with click fraud. And a lot of people talk about using ClickCease or different tools for like IP blocking and stuff. And that takes care of like 1% of click fraud.
Mhm.
The really most important thing is to track closed loop. So you understand where your fraud leads are coming from, and you can cut it out. Or you can give the algorithm the information it needs to be able to optimize away from those.
What is the fraud exactly?
It's
Is it burning your money, or are they trying to steal something from
it's burning your money because you're buying clicks
you? So
that aren't real clicks.
your competitor is going and clicking on your ad somewhere else. Not your competitor, but somebody is going out there and clicking your ads for
Yes.
no reason.
And a lot of the fraud there is some fraud that could be your competitor trying to blow your budget or
Mhm.
whatever the case is. That there's a different way to deal with that we could talk about. But a lot of the fraud is like a click farm in India that's
Mhm.
these people are basically compensated for how many times they can click and fill out forms on the internet to make it look like this website is producing traffic.
Got it. So the person that's monetizing it is the website.
Yes. That's
Got
that's why it's only a problem on the partner networks. Because Google has
Okay.
no reason to, like, if I was just to go on Google and click on a bunch of people's ads to blow their budget, I don't really have much incentive to do
Mhm.
that. You could say maybe to screw with my competitors, and that's why that does exist a little bit.
Mhm.
But the real thing is if I could have my own website where I get paid when people click from it, and I can fake people clicking from my website, then I can
Mhm.
make money.
Got it. See, when you first said click fraud, I was thinking like, not last Halloween, but the Halloween before, Squid Game was pretty popular,
Oh, yeah.
right? So we're trying to buy some costumes for Squid Game, and everything was sold out.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought it from this one website, and it just never came. It's like, well, that sucked, right?
Yeah, that's different fraud, but it's, yeah, it sounds equally bad.
yeah.
But the problem with this fraud stuff, this definitely happens with Facebook too. You turn on audience network, your lead quality will go to junk because the algorithm starts seeing that you can get so many leads there.
Mhm.
So that's the biggest problem is you accidentally double down on your worst leads because
Mhm.
they're cheap.
All right. You're saying there's a way to deal with people fraudulently click on yours on Google.
Mm-hmm.
So there's ClickCease, obviously. What else is there?
That's
That's
probably
it.
the best solution.
Got
The
it.
the idea is you identify if it's fraud and then you block it in the future. So if someone like clicks your ad 3 times,
Mhm.
then you can block their IP address moving
Yeah.
forward. And that works. But the reason it doesn't work for these sophisticated click fraud operations is because they are smarter than that and they change their IP address every time they click.
Right.
And if you can only block IP addresses, so if someone's smart enough to change their IP address, then you're out of
Yeah,
luck.
exactly. Follow-up question.